The hum of high-voltage cooling fans echoes through a nondescript warehouse in the Estonian countryside. Rows of flickering green lights dance across the concrete floor. Here, a digital ghost was born, designed to vanish before the first sunrise of the new year. On a mahogany desk in London, a single encrypted phone vibrates with a notification that will change history. A billionaire's wealth evaporates in the time it takes to draw a breath. The screen reflects a cold blue glow against the investigator's glasses. The air smells of ozone and expensive espresso as the global markets begin to tremble. Trillions of bytes move through fiber optic cables buried deep beneath the Atlantic. Nobody realizes that the mathematical foundations of the world's safest exchange have just been silently rewritten. It was the perfect crime, executed not with a crowbar or a mask, but with a single, elegant line of malicious code. This was the moment the world learned that in the digital age, seeing is no longer a valid reason for believing. Part 1. The Architect of Illusion. Years earlier, a brilliant young coder sat in a cramped apartment staring at a flickering monitor. He wasn't looking for riches, he was looking for a flaw in the very concept of trust. He found it hidden within the blockchain's core architecture. He cultivated an image of a visionary, a man who spoke in riddles about decentralized futures and financial freedom. To the public, he was a savior. To the investigators, he was a shadow they could never quite catch in the bright light. The algorithm he built was a masterpiece of deception, a self-correcting loop that simulated legitimate growth. It mimicked the frantic heartbeat of a healthy market. It breathed like a living thing, exhaling false data that looked like pure, unadulterated gold. High-end venture capitalists flocked to his glass-walled offices, drawn by the scent of effortless profit. They signed contracts with fountain pens, the scratch of nib on paper sounding like a death knell. They were buying a dream that was actually a nightmare. Behind the scenes, the genius was calm, sipping tea while watching the world's smartest minds fall into his trap. He knew that greed is the ultimate blindfold. The more complex the lie, the more people wanted it to be the absolute truth. Part 2. The Perfect Collapse. Then came the night of the Great Collapse, a Tuesday that started with a deceptive sense of normalcy. As the clock struck midnight in Singapore, the algorithm initiated its final, silent command. The digital vault began to drain with terrifying surgical precision. Red alerts flashed across the monitors at the cybercrime division in The Hague. Analysts scrambled, their fingers flying over mechanical keyboards like frantic sparrows. They watched as billions of dollars worth of assets transformed into strings of meaningless, unrecoverable zeros. The lead investigator felt a cold sweat prickle his neck as he realized the trail was looping back on itself. Every lead was a digital dead end, a hall of mirrors designed to trap the hunter. The predator had anticipated every move they made. Outside, the world remained oblivious for a few more hours. People slept soundly, dreaming of their digital fortunes. Meanwhile, in the dark corners of the web, the stolen wealth was being fractured into a million different directions, hidden forever. The tension in the war room was thick enough to taste, a metallic tang of failure. They had the best hardware and the sharpest minds, but they were playing a game where the rules changed every time they tried to win. Part 3. Chasing a Ghost. When the sun finally rose, the silence was deafening. The website for the exchange was a blank white page. No error message, no apology, just an empty void where a financial empire had stood only 24 hours before. Panic hit the streets like a physical wave, turning dreams of early retirement into dust. Thousands of people stared at their phones in disbelief. the smell of burnt toast lingering in kitchens where coffee went cold. The invisible thief had finally finished. The investigation lasted for 3 years, spanning 6 continents and dozens of jurisdictions. They found paper trails that led to abandoned shacks and digital signatures that belonged to dead men. The ghost had left plenty of breadcrumbs, all made of glass. In a small courtroom in Zurich, the evidence was presented in stacks of printed code that reached the ceiling. The lawyers spoke of decentralization and protocols, but the jury only saw the empty pockets of the victims. Justice felt small and very slow. The mastermind was never found, leaving behind only a laptop with a wiped hard drive and a single physical coin. He had disappeared into the very system he exploited, becoming a part of the white noise of the global internet. The Part 4. Lie We Chose to Believe. Today, the code he wrote still exists in the archives of security firms, a warning to those who think math is infallible. It reminds us that every system built by man carries the fingerprints of his inherent, inescapable flaws. We live in a world where the lines between reality and simulation are blurring more every day. Our trust is placed in algorithms we don't understand and leaders we never meet. We are all participants in a grand digital experiment. The billion-dollar deception wasn't just a heist. It was a mirror held up to our modern obsession with speed and profit. It proved that the most dangerous weapon in the world is not a bomb, but a well-timed, convincing lie. As you look at your screen tonight, remember that every light represents a door that can be opened. In a world built on code, the only thing more valuable than gold is knowing who holds the key. The greatest trick was convincing us the vault existed.